Hey Drew, I gotta go to Walmart and get some groceries. Wanna come?
Yeah, but under one condition.
What?
You have to make sure they play the Wii Shop channel theme while we're there.
Why?
It helps me shop better.
You do know I had to tip the guy who runs the radio like $50, right?
Yeah.
And every cent was worth it. God. So, the Wii. We're talking about it again.
1,000 words last time wasn't enough for me.
It had some firsts for Nintendo, such as the first Nintendo console to be able to do online play, first Nintendo console to use Mii's, and the first Nintendo console to have a digital storefront to purchase games on. This service was known as the Wii Shop channel. And that's what I'm talking about today. Capitalism. First of all, let me just say the whole atmosphere of the shop is just so cool. Down to the music that just screams capitalism. Being pretty intuitive, the lack of me being able to use it because I got my Wii at the end of last year. So all I can actually see is the 2 Wii channels they left up there. Yeah, can you tell I downloaded most of these using a hacked Wii? So part of the experience is kind of gone for me, but hey, I have the games. Nintendo totally approves of me doing this.
If they're really okay with it, then explain the cease and desist letter.
So, this shop has 3 distinct types of software: WiiWare, Virtual Console, and downloadable Wii channels. First, I'll cover Virtual Console. This is actually the first Nintendo console to use Virtual Console branding. They're kind of branding it as almost a way to play every Nintendo console on the Wii, because really, you actually can. Because first of all, the GameCube is already backwards compatible with it, and games from NES, SNES, and N64 are already available on the service, and this is really cool, because no Nintendo console before or since has this level of old console libraries ported over. It's mostly because the Wii and Switch refuse to do much with the GameCube for some reason. I don't know what's going on there, but regardless, yeah, Virtual Console definitely peaked here. It has the most variety of games too, not even just Nintendo. They also had Sega Genesis, Neo Geo, and Commodore 64, but Commodore 64 got removed in 2013. I don't really care, but I bet somebody was just losing it upon realizing that they can't buy ARG anymore.
I just want to buy ARG, Nintendo, why?
And weirdly, the Donkey Kong Country games were also removed before coming back in 2015 for some reason. Why was it removed in the first place? I don't know, but somebody's probably not working for Nintendo anymore because of it. Nintendo released a pretty good amount of games on this service, with most of them being just NES, which is kind of tradition because NES always gets the most love and attention for some reason. I really just think it's probably because they're just the easiest to port and Nintendo's just lazy. SNES had just over 70 games, and I want you to guess how many N64 games there are. Is it A, 50, B, 21? It's 21. Yeah, it's a pretty low number, but considering that this is a pretty essential lineup of N64 games, and this console as a whole had a radically lower number of titles compared to other consoles, then it at least makes a little sense. For NES games, you can play them with the Wii remote on its side. Both SNES and N64 games, because the Wii remote not having enough buttons for them, you basically have to either use the GameCube controller or the classic controller for these games. And I can't really say how they feel to play based on my experience, because currently I don't own a GameCube controller or a classic controller, but from what I've heard, they're both fine, except the GameCube controller doesn't seem to work very well with SNES games because of the button placement just being more designed for 3D than 2D. There are also games not originally released anywhere besides Japan's first release year, but the most notable was Mario The Lost Levels, which was technically already released for a remake in Super Mario All-Stars on SNES. This is the first time the original version came out around the world, but who cares, because everybody hates The Lost Levels.
That sounds like a skill issue.
Didn't you just say that in the previous episode?
No. Sounds like a skill issue.
You need to come up with a new comeback.
Believe me, I'm trying.
So yeah, Virtual Console definitely peaked here in terms of quality and quantity of titles provided. Next up, Wii channels. On the Wii Shop channel, you could download a bunch of Wii channels, which is the only thing you can still kind of do with the Wii U Transfer Tool and Skyward Sword Update channel, but besides that, this place is a ghost town. So I'm gonna go down a list of these channels and go over what they did and my opinions on them. Check Me Out channel, a channel dedicated to downloading Mii's and partaking in Mii contests to see which one matches the given theme. Oh yeah, and first, let me just disclose that I got these to work for hacking my Wii too. Because the service that kept some of these Wii channels going, Wii Connect 24, was shut down in 2013, so I'm specifically running this off the fan continuation Reconnect 24. But anyway, yeah, checking out channel is cool, and I've gotten a lot of cool Mii's this way. And plus, the contests are still being kept alive with new prompts. Everybody Votes channel is, as the name suggests, a channel where everybody votes. There are polls, and you vote. That's it. That's the whole premise of the channel. It's nothing all that special, but a fun 5-minute distraction. The internet channel is an internet browser on the Wii, and it's really the only one of these channels that actually kinda still works, but not really. You see, this is an old web browser, so you can maybe view Wikipedia if you're lucky, and you can make Google searches, but beyond that, it's just reaching. And yeah, this thing is ancient and can't really do much anymore, and from what I've heard, it's never really been that good, but it used to actually work back in the day. At least now it's useful for making Google searches, but why would I do that on the Wii now when I could just use my phone? The Nintendo channel. It was just a channel that had a bunch of Nintendo news, like trailers for upcoming games and the like. It looked really cool, and recently all the videos and then some were added to the Reconnect 24 version, so most of the novelty is lost because of it being 2023 and all these games are just here now, but it's still cool to look back on. There are also ways to play demos of DS games for sending a signal to your DS through download play. On the Wii, you pick a demo, and through that signal, you can play that demo on your DS, which is actually pretty cool and a smart way of doing demos for actually doing demos on the 3DS eShop, for example. There were also channels like the Mario Kart channel and the Wii Fit channel, which allowed you to look at your online stats in Mario Kart Wii and view your weight in Wii Fit without putting their respective discs in. So essentially, they're just convenience channels. There was also the Wii Speak channel, which allowed you to talk to your friends for Wii Speak. And this thing sucked, so why would I use it now?
Also, I can't use it because I don't want a Wii Speak.
People owned a Wii Speak?
Only 3 people, but yeah.
And also there was a channel in Japan where you could order food. And what's crazy is that hackers got it working today, which is insane, but I've only seen it work with Domino's, but it doesn't make it any less impressive. So yeah, THT Gug Dug Mark, what happened to my script?
I'm sorry, I blacked out while writing it.
That's sad.
Very.
Now finally, WiiWare. This is a group of original games that are smaller and more designed to be downloaded, whether it be by Nintendo themselves, indie developers. I'm not going to go in depth on every game on this service. If you want a video like that, go watch Scott the Wozz's video. He basically covers absolutely everything, but I'm only covering the games that I have downloaded and are significant or interest me. Dr. Mario Online RX. It's Dr. Mario on the Wii with a mode where you use the Wii remote and online that doesn't work anymore, and yeah, it's just Dr. Mario, which is still good, but the extra modes don't really add that much. I just feel like the new mode is just kind of slower and more condensed Dr. Mario, and then that's kind of it. So yeah, fun, but like the same game, basically. Pokemon Rumble is a game that is Pokemon, but you walk forward and press a lot to kill other Pokemon. Yeah, it's still kind of fun, even if it's a button mashing game, and they're canonically toys because they didn't have the budget to make higher quality 3D models, I assume. You keep going for different levels, and they all kind of feel the same. It's kind of repetitive, and that's my main complaint. It can be fun, but only for about 10-minute increment. There are also 2 games offered exclusively with Nintendo's reward program at the time, Club Nintendo. Doc Lewis's Punch-Out! Is basically an extra Punch-Out Wii fight. It's short, but it isn't bad. It's alright. Grow Off of Ultra Hand, which uses a toy made by Nintendo made years ago, back in the point in time where Nintendo made a bunch of other stuff besides games, such as toys, taxis, 18+ hotels. No, that last one is not a joke. But alongside that, Hanafuda cards and toys were their biggest business for video games, and among some of their biggest toys was the Ultra Hand. I can't really adequately describe the purpose of this toy, but it was basically a grabber. The game is high score based, and it tasks you to pick up as much meat as possible, but only when it's perfectly cooked, so you can't drop it or let it overcook, or you'll eventually lose. It's an alright game, but really weird and awkward to control. And plus, it's really bare bones, but it was a pretty cheap Club Nintendo reward, and if you had the service, you probably redeemed it for that reason. Fast Racing League, the first game in the Fast Racing series of games that are kind of like a modern equivalent to F-Zero, but at the same time, kind of a new thing. I've only played the Switch entry in this series, and as a resident enjoyer of the Switch entry in this series, this game's alright. It's more or less a basis for the 2 games that came after it, so it's not as graphically good because it being 480p, as opposed to Neo on Wii U and RMX on Switch being in HD. And I haven't gotten through as much of this also, just due to it being a little harder than the Switch one. Like, I guess it's just because I'm not really used to the tracks, but I'm always falling off. And I don't know, it could just be because I'm bad at this version specifically, and honestly I wouldn't be surprised by that, but it's not bad. I could go back and play it any day now, but if I want to play a game like this, I'm probably going to play Fast RMX. Fruit Space is a puzzle game. You have to fit these Tetris piece looking things through the holes, and it's kind of a fun distraction, and I've enjoyed going for high scores, but that's it. There's not much more to it. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy it, but I feel like I enjoy it more because I didn't have to pay for it, because when it was selling on the Wii Shop channel, it was the same price as Genesis and SNES games. Why? Regardless, it's a decently fun time. BitTrip. These games are all on modern consoles now, but they made their first debut on WiiWare. This series is most known for the runner games, but they're all rhythm-based games originally released on WiiWare. They vary in their playstyle, like one could be about running and jumping at the beat of the song and platformer like Runner, having a square almost being like Pong to deflect things coming your way to the beat of the song in a game like Beat, and visually they're pretty influenced by Atari games. and they all look pretty good, but in every way possible, Runner is the best out of all of them. Whether it be visually or gameplay-wise, Runner is such a tough, excellent platforming rhythm game. And when I say tough, I mean tough. There are no checkpoints in any level, so if you die halfway, you have to retry the level from the beginning. And yes, it can be frustrating, but like the good type of frustrating, where it's less the game's fault and more of your fault. Plus, there are bonus levels that are even more influenced by Atari visual. And overall, Runner is such a gem to come out on the Wii Shop channel. Really good game. And like the rest of the series is alright too, I guess. Excitebike World Rally. It quite literally is the exact same game in its playstyle and general vibe. And yeah, it's a pretty good revival. It retains the same feel while also feeling new at the same time. It also had online play. Keyword had.
Aw man, now my weekend plans are ruined.
You like Excitebike?
Yeah, it's my favorite game just above Steel Diver Sub Wars.
For the last time, Siri, I don't care about Steel Diver Sub Wars.
But it's the freaking best, you gotta trust me, bro.
Tetris Party. It's Tetris on Wii. So first look at the normal mode. It's Tetris without anything changed, except your Mii is walking in place. There's also an extra mode, such as a puzzle mode, where you have to fit the Tetris pieces together to make something. This mode where you have to help this tiny little guy climb at your Tetris pieces, and a mode where you have to race your Tetris piece to the end. It's a cool game with a good amount of content for a downloadable Tetris game. It also got a physical deluxe version too, but I don't have that yet. But it's good that it's preserved in non-homebrew ways. WarioWare DIY Showcase. I have this downloaded, but I don't have WarioWare DIY on the DS, so I guess I can't play this game. So basically, it's a channel where it allows you to play the micro games you make in the game WarioWare DIY on the DS. And it's basically Mario Maker, but for WarioWare. Basically, any micro game you can think of, you can actually kind of make. It looks cool. And using this WiiWare game, you can play on the big screen. And I believe it may have had online functionality, but I don't know. Regardless, pretty cool for the people who bought this game who wanted a way to play this on not a tiny screen. So yeah, that was really all the WiiWare games I was interested in. But there's obviously a lot of games released on WiiWare, like a lot, and a lot of them were bad and terrible, not good slop. But that was just kind of a thing about Wii games from third-party companies, you know? But yeah, that was the Wii Shop channel. A lot of stuff here that was actually really special, and unfortunate it's gone. But there have definitely been bigger shutdowns. For example, the Wii U and 3DS shops.
Maybe you'll want to check out the one I made on the 3DS shop. Maybe you will, I don't know. It's just a suggestion.
So yeah, that was cool and fun talking about the shop and all. Oh, and also, when me and Dre were at the store, I bought a pencil.
Congratulations, you wasted $5.
Whoa.